Evening and welcome to Orenda Books at Bedtime. I'm Karen Sullivan, publisher of Orenda Books, and this is our first lockdown episode. Tonight we'll be travelling to Edinburgh in Scotland to talk about Doug Johnston's amazing A Dark Matter. This is what it's about. Meet the Scalps, a well-known Edinburgh family, proprietors of a long-established funeral business and private investigators. When patriarch Jim dies, it's left to his wife Dorothy, daughter Jenny, and granddaughter Hannah to take charge of both businesses, kicking off an unexpected series of events. Dorothy discovers mysterious payments to another woman, suggesting that Jim wasn't the husband she thought he was. Hannah's best friend Mel is vanished from university, and the simple adultery case that Jenny takes on leads to something stranger and far darker than anyone could imagine. As the women struggle to come to terms with their grief, and the demands of the business threaten to overwhelm them, secrets from the past emerge, which change everything. A compelling, tense, and shocking thriller, and a darkly funny and warm portrait of a family in turmoil, A Dark Matter introduces a cast of unforgettable characters, marking the start of an addictive new series. All the big names have come out to quote for this one. We've got Mary Paulson Ellis saying this dark and touching thriller makes for a thoroughly enjoyable slice of Edinburgh noir. Carrie Hudson, in The Big Issue, says, a tense ride, strong, believable characters. Stuart Neville says, that rare book with heart and smarts to lift it above your average crime novel. Val McDermott says, A Dark Matter showcases a writer at the peak of his powers, except that with every book, Doug Johnston just gets better and better. Erin Kelly says, I was addicted from the first page, gripping, gritty, and funny as hell. Chris Brookmeyer says, emotionally complex, richly layered, and darkly funny, an addictive blend of case histories and 6 Feet Under. And Mark Billingham says, a fiendish mystery that is also deeply moving and laced with suitably dark humour, set to be one of the books of the year. And I couldn't agree more. This is an outstanding read. It's dark, it's funny, and I'm really happy to say that the next one will be coming out this August, Scalps #2. It's called The Big Chill. And over to Doug.
Hi, this is a reading from my most recent novel, A Dark Matter, which was out in January of 2020. It's about 3 women who have to take over the running of a funeral directors and a private investigators when the patriarch of the family dies. So it's from 3 points of view, Dorothy, Jenny and Hannah. I'm going to read a bit from quite near the start. It's from Dorothy's point of view, and she's in the embalming room of the funeral home with her husband Jim's remains. She turned back to Jim's remains, picked up a 4-inch shard of white bone. It was as light as balsa wood but solid, all the organic content and moisture vaporised. She held it up to the light, turned it in her fingers. It had one straight edge and one gently curved, and was wider at one end than the other, with a round indentation at the wide end like it might have been a socket for a ball joint. The narrow end was sharp, and she pushed her thumb against it, felt the pain. She kept pushing until it broke the skin, watched as a droplet of her blood spread along the tip of the bone, darkening it. She sucked her thumb and put the bone in the pocket of her cardigan. She thought of all the atoms from Jim's body now floating in the sky across Edinburgh, rising into the upper reaches of the atmosphere. She thought of other atoms from his pyre dropping onto the soil in their garden, their neighbours' gardens. She thought of the atoms in the brush Archie used to tidy up, the atoms stuck in her own hair, on her clothes, her shoes, in her nose and ears and throat. She licked her pinky finger and dipped it in the dust on the tray, then sucked it. He tasted of bonfires and dirt, all that was left of 50 years together. She breathed deeply and looked at the embalming table alongside, bottles of chemicals and pumps lined up on the far workstation, razors, scissors, creams and sprays, the collapsible gurney they brought the bodies in on. Collecting bodies was a 2-person job, Jim and Archie, for years. Now someone else would have to step in, maybe her. She'd done the funeral arranging together with Jim for years, but she hadn't got as involved with the body side of the business. She was good at logistics, good with people, had worked for the company part-time on and off her whole life, while raising Jenny at the same time. Indy could step up. She was training to be a funeral director anyway. She was small but strong, tough in a way none of the Scalps were. Dorothy saw it in her the moment they met, same with Archie. All part of their extended surrogate family, a family that had now lost its heart. She left the room, switching the light out on her husband, the ashen taste of him still on her tongue, his sharp bone with her blood on it, nestled in her pocket.
Thanks so much, Doug. That was amazing. I'm happy to let you know that A Dark Matter is on special offer in ebook at most major retailers at the moment. But for now, that's all from us. We'll look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of Orenda Books at Bedtime.